Hi, this is Karen Porter talking to all of my students in the business marketing class 343. Welcome to Integrated Marketing Communications, everybody. I wish I was there in person, but I am not able to be there right now just because I'm having a little surgery on Tuesday morning, so it's going to likely take me out of the school until next week. In the meantime, I have Emily Plant, who has so graciously agreed to come in and take care of this class for me in person, just to make sure that you know there is a class and that I am coming at some point. And she's going to be giving you your syllabus, which you already should have received if you went to class today. And she will also go over a few things that are critical, but I wanted to spend a few minutes just kind of going over things on my own as if I would have been in class today. In any case, as you probably know, my name is Karen Porter. I have been at the business school teaching on and off since the late 80s. Did a stint there in the late 80s to early 90s, then took a hiatus and did corporate side marketing, and then came back to the business school just a few years ago. So it's been a great pleasure to be back and to meet students in this new generation of students at the University of Montana. Oops, I just accidentally advanced too quickly there. My office is in the Gallagher Business Building up on the 3rd floor. It's room 348, and there's several cubbies in there. I think there's about 8. They affectionately refer to it as the bullpen. I'm serious here. If you look at our printer, it says the bullpen printer, etc. So 348 is the cubbies there, and I am in number 7. You can just see my name outside the cubby and also outside the main door. I'm going to be holding office hours this semester from 9:45 until 11 on Tuesdays and Thursdays and by appointment. I know that a lot of you probably have classes from that 9:40 to 11 slot, so certainly if you're not able to make it during that time, I can make appointments with you at alternative times, although if you can make it during that slot, that would be just much appreciated. To reach me by phone, the best way to reach me is through my cell phone, because I do work as a consultant outside of the business school work that I do. The best way to reach me is by cell because I'm very rarely just at my desk unless I happen to be there in office hours. So use my cell phone. I just ask that you please use reason in giving me a call. Later than 9 p.m. in the evening is generally not advised, but certainly if it's an emergency you can, but hopefully you can get a hold of me before 9. My preferred method of communication is by email or calling. I'm not much of a texter myself, but if you want to text me just to ask if it's okay to give me a call, that kind of thing, that's certainly more than appropriate, so feel free. Email. My official address is at the business school, as you see here on the slide. It's karen.porter@business.umt.edu, but I would ask that you please copy me. If you're going to send me an email, please send it to both of these email addresses, including my KarenLoy@gmail address. And the reason for that is I've been having issues with my business school email. That's my preferred method of communication, but if I'm not getting emails there, I want to make sure I'm receiving it somewhere. The other thing is that my KarenLoy@gmail address feeds into my phone, so I'll know that you've contacted me and can log in and see if the email has come into my business school email address and respond to you that way accordingly. I also want you to know that I have put up a web page specifically for this class at a website called osmm.net/BMKT343, and that's just osmm.net and then the slash. It's the course number after the slash. So if you can remember what the course number is, that's all you'll need to remember, and you can always get back to that page. On that page, I will have the syllabus posted, contact information for me, and I will also be posting lecture notes and various other handouts or resources that you will need throughout the course on that page. So it'll be a handy reference for you to go back and find things on, and I prefer to do it on a web page just because I do that as part of what I do all the time, build websites, and it's much easier for me to do than configure and find my way around Moodle, which I find a little cumbersome. In any case, if you don't have the syllabus yet, or if you want to download one, feel free to just go to that page and you will see the syllabus there ready for you to just click, download, print off another copy, and in the case of needing to update the syllabus as we go on through the semester, I will always have the most updated version on that website page. As far as a textbook is concerned, you'll be happy to know that I am using a textbook that is going to save you a whole bunch of money. The text is called Advertising in IMC, Principles and Practice by Sandra Moriarty, Mitchell, and Wells. And I'm going to have you use the 2011 edition. The reason is because a 2014 edition came out I think it was a few months ago, but unfortunately that textbook is $240, and because it is so new to the market, finding used copies is almost impossible. Consequently, I made a decision to stick to the 2011 edition for now. Really the only difference between those two texts is there's been some updates in a few places, new examples and whatnot, and I thought for the extra money you'll save, you could appreciate maybe just using the 2011 edition. And I'm going to suggest that you just go online and order it via Amazon, either ordering the Kindle edition there or just finding a used textbook from one of the many sellers that sell that text. So in any case, I think when I checked prices the other day, you can get a used edition or a Kindle edition of that text, again the 2011 edition. It's going to run you somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 to maybe $70, and you might even be able to find it cheaper than that. That's certainly a whole lot less than $240, which in my mind is just way too much to pay. The good news is too is you do not need that textbook until March 3rd. I am actually going to be starting off the course with the digital marketing section, and that is going to be driven by notes and downloads that I'll provide to you in class. So you've got ample time to get that textbook in, but I would urge you to go ahead and order it right away. The reason I'm covering digital marketing in this course first is because, one, it'll allow you to get your textbook in more quickly, but I also just really feel that what the textbooks do as far as covering digital marketing is just really insufficient, and this is no criticism of the authors. The problem is that digital marketing changes so very quickly that by the time an author writes a book, it gets edited, they even go in and tweak it to bring it as up to date as they can. It's published and then put out in the marketplace. A lot of the content would already be outdated. So consequently, they tend to just treat digital marketing and textbooks very, very generically, and I totally understand why, but consequently, it really leaves students in a bind. Many students are going to go out there and find that when they hit the workforce that it's implied that because they have a marketing degree, and most of you taking this class probably are aiming for a marketing degree or at least a minor, they expect that you're going to have some familiarity with digital marketing and its various subsections like social media, search engine optimization, etc. This course certainly is just going to scratch the surface of that, but because it's going to be the only class that a lot of you take that may even discuss some of this content, I definitely wanted to make sure that you all at least had a broad brush overview of this information in much more detail than what your textbook provides. This content that I'm going to be sharing with you in the digital marketing section is not in the textbook, and consequently downloads and resources will be provided to you in class. It's really important though that you do plan to be in class regularly, as I will not be explaining things on a one-to-one basis if you miss class. We're going to be covering quite a bit fairly quickly. If you're not in class, you're probably going to put yourself in jeopardy for doing well on the first exam just because of the nature of what we're covering off and the fact that there isn't a textbook that, tidies it up and puts it in a nice format that you may be used to being tested upon. Just to go over course grading a bit, the grading in the business school, at least the marketing department, is on a plus-minus grading system. So you will see that A's are 90 to 92 is an A minus, 93 to 100 is an A. When you get into B, C's and downward, it's the 80 to 82, 83 to 86, 87 to 89, and so on and so forth down through the C's and D's. There are going to be 600 points total in this class, and those points are going to be comprised from the following ways. Exams, we are going to have 3 midterms. All 3 of those midterms are going to cover various sections. Like the first midterm will cover the digital marketing section of the course. The second section is going to cover primarily the creative section of the course, and the third section is going to cover the media component of the course. Those 3 exams are going to equal 300 points. There are no makeups. They are all multiple choice. And if you miss one of those exams, you will have the option to take an optional final, which will be a cumulative exam. It will also be multiple choice, but it is going to be cumulative, and I certainly try to test fairly knowing it's a cumulative exam, but nonetheless it's much easier usually to study for an exam that covers a third of the course than to recap the whole thing. So definitely try to be at the midterms if you possibly can. However, if you don't do well on one of the midterms, or you want to take the final and see how you do on that one, I absolutely will take the high 3 of 4 scores. So it's an option for folks who try to improve their grade too, and I will let you know before the last week of class exactly where you're standing so that you know whether or not the final is something you want to take. There's also going to be 2 papers in this class. Both papers are worth 100 points each, so there will be 200 points coming from the papers. The papers are going to be based on real-world client examples. I usually try to find somebody local, although occasionally we will Skype someone in and may help out somebody from afar, but you will have an opportunity as a student to basically serve as a student consultant and work on behalf of that client, provide recommendations for them just as if you were being hired to do work for them. It's really an opportunity for you to learn how to write in business writing format, kind of a proposal format is what I'm going to teach, and then you will be submitting these papers both to myself for grading as well as to the clients for them to give feedback as well. Although I will be the one doing the grading, it's always nice to have input and feedback from a real client. I think this is a great exercise for preparation entering the workforce here in the next few months or within a year or a year and a half for most of you. Class assignments and participation are also going to be worth 100 points. I do give quizzes from time to time or have in-class assignments. There will be a quiz next Tuesday. I'll tell you more about that later, and within the information I have posted for you to cover off lecture for Thursday in recorded format, being I'm not yet going to be back to class. In any case, just want you to know that there are not makeups if you miss class on a given day. So again, class participation is very important, just because there is a lot of information that I tend to bring in via examples and whatnot that are not in your textbook even when we are using the text. And if you miss class, you're missing a lot of the richness that's brought to the class from outside means. So just want to emphasize again that class assignments and participation are worth a good chunk of your score, and that there's not makeup for those that are missed. I am going to be posting the lecture for January 29th online as well. As I mentioned, it would be highly doubtful I'll be back on Thursday. If I'm superhuman in recovery, I guess it's a possibility, but just to be on the safe side, I want to make sure that you have what you need, and I'm going to be providing the first lecture in video format, just like this is, and you will be able to go in and view it in several sections that I will be posting to either this page or Moodle. I will leave information on the osmm.net webpage for you, is to let you know whether you'll find the videos there or whether I'm going to post them up on Moodle. I would ask that you watch that lecture on January 29th in its entirety. There is going to be a quiz next Tuesday, February 3rd, covering that lecture as well as a few points from the outline I provided you today. So in the meantime, I would just ask that you go ahead and get your book ordered to allow for shipping time and ensure you have it in hand by March 3rd. I did not order copies of this through the bookstore, as I just kind of made a last-minute decision as to how to handle this once I found out I was teaching the course and also learned the price of the new edition of the textbook. I just really thought it might be better to go to Plan B. So hopefully you will appreciate me saving you a little bit of money and can deal with a textbook that's 3 years old instead of one that came out the gate just a few months back. In any case, that's really all I wanted to go over with you today, is essentially the very things I would have gone over with you if I would have been there, although I'm sure it would have taken just a little bit more time for questions and taking care of a few other housekeeping things that usually pop up when I'm there in person. Again, I want to thank, just in front of you, Dr. Emily Plant for stepping in and helping out today in my absence. And I just really appreciate all of you hanging in and putting up with me for recording online and leaving you information that way, given the fact that I'm out. So I really look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, meeting you all in person, and thank you so much for your time and attention. Watch for the other videos for January 29th lecture coming to your way soon.